right. If you watched Impact last night, throughout if you watched all of Impact last night, I watched some of it, didn't watch all of it. I was eating dinner, going back and forth, doing some things. But if you did watch Impact throughout, or if you read the spoilers from a couple weeks ago, you may have found out, or had seen, or heard, or read that Scott Steiner had made his return last night to TNA. Now, why did Scott Steiner make his return to TNA? Some people may ask, why did he do that? Well, for the past 2 weeks, Crimson, Amazing Red's little big brother, if you will, kept saying that a new they, was coming. Nobody know, and now, according to what I read, Bischoff and Flair, they blew it off thinking it's nothing but a bluff and all that. But apparently it's not a bluff, because we heard that we're gonna find out who they are next Thursday, on February 3rd, which is also the night that we find out the decision between Hogan, Carter, and the situation with TNA. Now, again, why did Scott Steiner come back? Well, here's the thing. The they that Crimson is talking about is this group right here. A group many fans liked, some didn't, and that is the Main Event Mafia. Now, you might be saying to yourself, why would TNA bring back the Main Event Mafia? Well, excuse me there. Well, basically, from what I read, Spike TV, the representatives, the honchos at Spike TV, looked at the ratings that TNA had when the Mafia was around and realized that the Mafia gave them some of the highest ratings. So, by bringing them back, they're probably hoping that lightning will strike again. The only problem, though, is that you only have 2, possibly 3 members, if not 4 members coming back. You don't have or 5 or 6. Okay. Well, here's what I mean. Here's what I mean by not having all the members. One, Booker T, according to many sources, has burnt his bridge with TNA. Now, TNA could bring him back for this storyline, but as we have read recently in weeks, he's been trying to negotiate to get back into WWE. Now, this Sunday at the Royal Rumble, we'll find out whether Booker T's back in WWE or not, because if he comes out as a surprise participant or entry in the Rumble, then we'll know that there's no chance that he'll be in TNA. And even the same could be said for Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash says he's retired, but if he just wants one big payday, he'll probably show up at the Rumble too, but that all depends. If they don't show up at the Rumble and they're not like surprise entrants in the Rumble match itself, then yeah, there's a possibility they could still go to TNA. And be part of this whole storyline. But according to some sources, Booker T may not come back because he's burnt his bridge with TNA, during his first time there. And the fact that he did not want to do what many others have been doing, and that's help put over the younger talent. He didn't want to do that. So, we'll see what happens. Right now, the only members that I see in the Mafia originally are Angle and Steiner. There's talk that Sting might be part of it, although WWE is trying the heaviest to negotiate Sting to come over to them, for at least the Hall of Fame ceremony. You got Samoa Joe, who could be a part of this. Apparently, it looks like you got Crimson is going to be one of the newer members. And word's going around that AJ might end up being in the Mafia as well. So we'll see what happens, but the truth is, it all depends after what happens this Sunday. Now, again, why would, they bring back the Mafia? Well, again, like I said, Spike TV noticed that they had high ratings for TNA. That TNA had its highest ratings when the Mafia was around. And also, they probably feel as though a Mafia versus Immortal/Fortune storyline going into the spring and the summer, and at least till maybe Bound for Glory this year, would help TNA out in a big way. Now, there's a lot of rumors, according to some people, going around of how the Mafia is going to be brought in and why. According to one guy I subscribed to last night, he says that one of the things he said was that there's a rumor, or at least this is his opinion, but this is what he said it looks like it could go, and that is Dixie Carter next Thursday could reveal that she's the one that brought the Mafia back. Because, like I said, we're still finding out whether, because this Thursday we're going to find out whether Hogan and Bischoff have control or Dixie's got control again. And maybe, to ensure she keeps that control, maybe she's going to have the Mafia. I don't know. But, that's one of the things I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are talking about. But again, the question is it a good idea to have the Mafia back? Some people say it is. Some people agree with the Spike TV representatives that it's a good idea. Some probably don't agree with it because some of the members, like say Scott Steiner, can't really go that much anymore. If Kevin Nash is brought back in, he can't. He could still go, but not in the way that people would like. Sting can still sort of go. Kurt Angle, he's Kurt Angle. What are you going to say about that guy? So, and Samoa Joe, Samoa Joe. The name says it all. But the question is that they have is this going to be a good idea? Well, the way I look at it, I think in a way it might be a good idea because if you think about it, TNA doesn't have a group really representing them that much. Doesn't have somebody standing up to the Immortals and /Fortune and trying to say, hey, look, we're sick and tired of your crap. We're not going to take it anymore, and now we're going to give you a dose of your own medicine. I mean, the reaction last night, I'll say this, the reaction last night when Scott Steiner appeared was the kind of reaction that you want to get out of your audience, whether you're watching it on television or you're there live. And storyline-wise, you want to get the reaction out of the heel group, like, because they had sort of like a shock expression, like, what the heck's he doing back? And, Karen Jarrett telling Jeff, I told you. It's like Karen knew. Karen knew that Kurt was going to do this. Let's not forget, Karen was originally for a short time though, part of the Main Event Mafia. So if you think about it, it may be a good idea because at least it would allow somebody that would look at, say, the Immortal storyline and say, oh, it's just an NWO ripoff, and, look at, last night's main event. That's just an example of it. Yeah, I agree. Last night's main event, where you had half of Immortal and Fortune going against Kurt Angle and Crimson. Yeah, that was NWO written all over it. There's no doubt about that. But here's the thing. What made the NWO storyline hot in its later years, and to prevent it from dying, if you will, was when they had the Wolf Pack against NWO Hollywood. Despite what people said, that's what made it hotter than ever. TNA, whether you agree with it or not, probably looks at what that did for WCW and helped them becoming number one for a while, or keeping the number one status. And they're probably saying to themselves, you know, if WCW could do that with the Wolfpack and the NWO, why can't we do that with the Main Event Mafia and Immortal? You know, so, you know, on one hand, it's probably not the best idea because, like many would say, you got some members of the Mafia that you're not sure are going to be able to come back, or you're not sure are going to be able to perform to the level you're hoping they will. But on the other hand, it creates intrigue because at least now you have a group that is willing, even as baby faces, if you will, willing to do the same thing to Immortal that Immortal's been doing to everybody else. That's gang up on the members, beat them down with weapons, bloody them. You know, they're willing to do that. So, again, the question is, will we have all members? Will we only have certain members? We'll find out, because I believe this Sunday at the WWE's Royal Rumble, we're going to have one or two questions answered. If Booker T is, like I say, a surprise entrant in the Rumble, as well as Nash, well, then you have your answer there. If it's just Booker T, then, well, Nash is still a possibility. If it's neither of them, then it's still then you still have a strong possibility that they might be able to come back. But as of right now, it looks like, I guess according to TNA, it's going to be Kurt Angle, Crimson, Scott Steiner, Sting, possibly Samoa Joe, and maybe if they have to, have AJ jump ship to the Mafia. I mean, because if you look at it, I mean, I haven't been watching TNA that much lately, but from what I've read and from the videos I've watched off my TNA application on my iPod, of my TNA apps off my iPod, it looks like they're slowly getting ready to turn AJ face. It looks like it. I'm not saying they will, but if they're going to have AJ jump ship, that's what it looks like they're going to do. But again, on one hand, it's not a good idea because, like I said, you're not sure if you're going to get a majority of the members. And on the other hand, it is because, like I said, at least you'll have a group, even if they're baby faces, that are willing to do the same things to Immortal that Immortal's been doing to everybody else. And that, like I said, that's beat them down, gang style, beat them up with weapons, bloody them, whatever. And hey, we might find out that Dixie's the reason they're back together. Who knows? So, but again, is it a good idea? Like I said, one hand it is, the other it isn't. Tell me what you guys think. And I'll talk to y'all later.